you'll eat elk and you feel like you just like
You can
drank
run
a
them
coffee,
up.
but like a way like more natural, like
There's no
feeling and
crash.
just sustainable.
You're
running.
just putting damn racing fuel into your body.
Yeah, they're what did Rogan say about it? He
It's
said
like
they're
LeBron James of.
yeah, you're like eating like an ultra athlete. You know what I mean? Like
Things
they're like
sprints up mountains.
yeah, and the meat is so good. It's crazy, dude. You smoke that thing up right. Good old seasoning.
Amen, brother.
Don't talk dirty to me. Let's start this thing. Are we live? Oh, that's a good
All
way to
right,
start
dude.
this up.
There we go.
Welcome back, man. You've been gone.
Thanks for having
Where you been?
me. I've been in Vegas, man.
I'm not. The whole time just gambling.
Yeah,
Anna,
well,
get your mans. No.
yeah, I was in Vegas and then followed up with a short stint in quarantine, but survived the C19er. I beat it, and
Proud of you.
it took everything I had.
Got your whole family though.
Yes,
Yeah.
we all made it.
Yeah.
We're all good.
Good.
So I mean, we're not joking. Like
Yeah, glad to
we're
be
blessed. We're healthy. But yeah, I went out to Vegas to see Mike Ferry, who's but probably the founding real estate coach.
He is the OG, the original. Yeah.
The OG.
Yep.
And he's a living legend in
No,
my
he really
opinion,
is, man.
He's
Direct mentee of Earl Nightingale.
Yeah, we sat in row B. Me and a mutual friend of ours, Tyler Burleson, sat in the second row.
EXP, shout out.
Shout out.
He's gonna recruit you. Watch out.
Yeah, hey, watch it.
You gotta clip that for him.
Yeah, cut that.
Clip that for Tyler specifically.
Yeah. So we sat in the second row and saw basically an equivalent to like Earl Nightingale or Zig Ziglar live for 4.5 days.
Yep.
It's pretty crazy, man.
Yeah. Yeah, and so I background on that because it relates to what we're going to talk about today is so when I first started in real estate, I literally just YouTubed. I went on YouTube and Google and searched real estate agent training, training it was, and I found Mike on YouTube, and I was watching. There's a lot of people there at the time. There wasn't as much as there is now, but I found Mike specifically, and I just got obsessed with his content. And so I was 19 and about to turn 20. And just devouring all of his content. And he actually had a really good a video playlist of what he called his Mike Ferry sales system. It's him in front of a green screen. So it was like a fake office behind him. And the audio was not great, but it was some of the most golden content I've ever listened to in my life. And I just over and over and over and over and over again replayed every single one of those videos. And I went to one of his sales talks, which is basically just a 3-day training of 3-day training of real estate agent sales training, scripts, dialogues, what to say, how to handle situations. It was phenomenal. And I was 20 at the time, and I had I had no money, nothing. So I'm living at home, living in the basement, wasn't making any money, wasn't selling a lot of stuff at all. And Ron Cronin, who's Mike's son-in-law, I was at the third day of it, and we were building a relationship. He was crushing the training. He was so good. And he's like, dude, give me your credit card. I was like, what? He's like, give me your credit card. Like, you're going to sign up for training. Like, you're going to be in coaching program. And coaching was $650 a month. Now, a $650 a month bill for me at the time was like, I couldn't afford that, but it went on a credit card. And long story short, Ron Cronin taking my credit card and forcing me to get into coaching with Mike Ferry was one of the greatest things that ever happened to me, man. It taught me so much about selling, taking care of the client the right way, becoming a professional, right? Becoming the best listing agent and agent in general as possible. And I was with Mike Ferry coaching for years. We switched a few years ago to Tom Ferry just for something new, in a position where I feel like I'm excited to go back to Mike, but I never stopped listening to Mike's stuff and his content. It's just so valuable, man. And so you got the Superstar Retreat was I had my 5-year anniversary this week of the Superstar Retreat.
Wow.
The first time I went 5 years ago. And it was a lot of fun, man. So anyway, talk about your experience.
Yeah, it was incredible, man. Yeah. Great preface. It's really set the stage, but yeah, it was incredible. Not only the content that Mike shared, but the people that you're rubbing shoulders with. They're all just like high level professionals. When
highest.
Yeah,
it's that and Tom Ferry. They're very comparable, but they're different in ways because
absolutely.
And Tom Ferry's his son, which is hilarious. But Tom used to work for Mike for years. They have the 2 number 1 real estate agent training platforms in the world, coaching platforms in the world. They're the 2 top. Mike's is very old school, right?
Yeah,
fundamentals of
blocking
sales
and
business.
tackling.
Yeah, and Tom took that and then also spun it to what is today's business like. Creating content, having a podcast, marketing, branding, so Mike has a system. This is how you do it. Tom is, what do you want to create, and let's build around that. So the combination of the two, I think, is very valuable. But yeah. So Mike's the agents that you're surrounded by. I mean, I remember going for the first time, and I'm around, agents doing 100. I mean, 100 transactions at the time was like, oh my god. And we're going to do 250 this year as a team. And to think about that, but I remember thinking, oh my god, 100
I couldn't imagine. Yeah.
200 transactions, 500, 1,000, right? Helping out 1,000 clients in a year. These people that we were around, it was phenomenal. So anyway, sorry, I wanted to add that too.
Yeah. So I mean, it was just great to network with those people, and like we both come from an athletic background, and in athletics, obviously you have a coach, and in the off season you seek, even better coaches and different coaches, so that way you can just improve your game on different levels and across different facets of your sport. And that's like deeply ingrained in me of being coachable and then seeking out leadership. And Mike really obviously he's a phenomenal coach, but he has coached all these people, all these what we would call the top producers. They're not doing anything crazy. There is no silver bullet or magic answer that's going to help grow business. They're doing his sales system day in and day out. And for me, that really resonated that, wow, okay, if these guys and women are getting coached by Mike, then, all right, I should probably pay attention to what Mike's saying, And, I mean, we're going to go through some of it today. I don't want to spoil it. But.
Yeah, and instead of going through, local stories like oftentimes we do or having a guest on the show, today we're going to talk about the real estate market, because the last time we talked about it, I think it was when Taro was on. I believe so. Ago. That was the last time we
lot's
really
changed.
Did an update on the market. We're in a much different market. We're in a shifting market. So we're going to talk about what we're seeing right now in the market. There's a 14-point document that Mike Ferry, 14 points here, Mike gave you. Now, are these your notes?
These are my notes,
so these are your notes. But Mike gave you 14 points about what's changing in the market, 14 changes. We want to go through that because there's a lot to be talked about here and updates for people knowing, anybody looking to get into the market, questions on if you're buying or selling, investing, anything like that, renting, what should you be doing? What are we seeing happening as we go into this shifting market? And so for us on our team, we constantly prepare for this. We meet weekly to talk about these things. We meet quarterly to go deep dive into what's going on in the market. This is our job, is to keep you updated as to what's going on. So today's about real estate. Today's about the market. We're going to talk on that. We're going to touch on these 14 points, answer some questions. We got 14 points here that I'm sure we could literally spend hours on, but we'll try to narrow this down in 15, 20 minutes or so. So, but yeah, man. So you lead us off. These are your notes.
Yeah.
All
right. So
I thought you memorized.
I know. There's 14 of them. I think I got 12 and a half down, but so the first thing that Mike talks about is days on market is extending. And what that means is when you bring your house to market, how many days does it take for you to accept an offer on that home and technically go under contract? So, I mean, the last couple of years has been an abnormally low amount of days on market. Typically the median,
The median days on market was 4 to 5 days.
Yeah.
So that's the middle number. The average was 16 days on market.
Yeah.
In Northwest Indiana, we're talking about the region. So that's the market that we know. 16 is the average. 4 is the median.
Yeah. And typically, like, historically, if you were to say, like, 1 day on market, this thing sold, that would be, like, incredible. Yeah, that was not that.
No.
Like, crazy to hear the last couple of years.
No, it was normal. If it went past a day, you're like, well, what's wrong with it?
Yeah.
And in the previous, like when I started in the business, when it was a normal real estate market, typically if you saw a house for 90 days, you're like, okay, that's pretty. It felt normal. Like 90 days on the market. Now you see it for 30 days, and it's like, what the hell's wrong? So days on market's increasing.
Is increasing.
And we're starting to see that with listings.
Yeah, we are starting to see that. That's definitely ringing true in our market.
See a property go on the market, and I'm used to everything being pending by the time we look at it again. And I'll go back, and a client will send us, hey, we want to see this one. And I'm like, that thing's still for sale? And I look it up, 24 days on market.
Yeah.
16 days on market. 34 days on market. So
also,
we're seeing it.
This is a great thing for buyers and sellers, I guess, but buyers in the sense that you don't have to drop everything you're doing. If you're trying to find your first house, or you're just trying to buy any house, downsize, whatever the situation is, you don't have to drop everything and run out to go see a house and put an offer in before you even get to like think about it too much.
Yes.
Like you have the last couple of years. Or on the selling side, like if you list your home for sale now, you're not gonna like have 15 offers to wade through in the first day and have no time to find your next home.
Yes.
Now you can list your home and shop for a home at the same time.
Yes.
So
we are going to, and as Mike said, welcome to a normal market. By the way, good. This is all good stuff. We have seen 2 years of abnormality and insustainability. It's not going to maintain this way. It's no way that we can maintain the market that we're in. This is good stuff. Everything we're talking about here is good.
That's right. Inventory is growing on a national level is the second point that Mike talked about. So the number of homes for sale at a given time, actively for sale, not under contract, is growing, which is, again, good. I mean, I feel like we're a broken record, but choices are good when you're a buyer, and you can choose between 10 different houses as opposed to like 2 houses that maybe one of them's grossly overpriced, but somebody's going to pay it.
Yep.
That's a good change.
Yeah. Inventory growing, more options for buyers. It's still significantly a seller's market in terms of month supply of inventory, which is a statistic that we use. We are still significantly on the seller side, month supply of inventory, and we should make some real content on that, some small content on that to share that. But it is still a seller's market. However, that's quickly shifting. From the beginning of the year, or the first quarter, the end of the first quarter, when we looked at days on market, month supply of inventory, less than 1 month supply. Now it's at 2 months supply of inventory. So it's more than doubled in the last 3 months. So we have twice as many homes active on the market in 3 months. Good sign. So inventory is growing.
Yeah. And then on a seller side of that is what are you like prepared to do to make your home stand out now that there's more homes on the market? Now's a great time to have a phenomenal real estate agent. This isn't the time that you just have so-and-so list your house because you're their friend. So the third point is fewer COVID buyers in the market. And what Mike defined as a COVID buyer was really a couple situations. Maybe somebody can work from home now, and they wanted to move just for a change of scenery. And he says many companies are requiring people to go back into office, so now that removes that demographic of people from the market.
Yes.
And then he also talked about people that were looking for a greener political pasture, that now maybe regulations have slowed down and they don't want to actually move. They want to stay where their family's currently planted and they're able to do so. So they've changed their mind on that. Or maybe somebody looking for a second home that is no longer doing so because of news of an oncoming recession.
Yes. Yeah. And the COVID buyer definitely increased the overall number of sales. The projections for 2022 now are at a more normal rate, a pre-pandemic rate, which, by the way, pre-pandemic, the years leading up to 2020 were the highest in total closed residential sales and of homes around in the country. So now we're projection for back at that number, which, by the way, if we reduce to those numbers, keep in mind those were the best real estate years in history before 2020 and 21.
That's right.
So what else we got?
The next point is price reductions are now
4?
back in play. That is number 4.
Point number 4.
So people have been saying for the last couple of years, I'm waiting to buy for the crash. I'm waiting to buy for the crash. And now I don't want you to confuse price reductions being back in play with prices crashing.
Correct.
Those are two different things.
Big difference.
Price reductions being back in play simply means that you can no longer list your home for 10% more than it's worth and get it.
Yes.
It means that you need to list at a market value, at or slightly below maybe, depending on the condition of your home. But you need to list based on data, not on your greed.
And what we're seeing is because so many that we're fresh out of this or fresh into the shift. So many people are used to seeing the craziness, and the real estate's going to lag on that. So people then what they're doing is they're saying, oh, well, I can get this for my house, and they go for that number. So the price reductions, you're seeing a lot of price reductions because you have sellers who are overpricing their homes.
That's right.
Not on data, based on what we've gone through the last 2 years, which is, oh, well, I can get this. And the answer is you no longer can.
That's right.
You need to price based on what your home is worth, which is based on what the homes around you are selling for.
That's correct. 100% correct.
Number 5.
Number 5, interest rates will continue to be fluid. Interest rates are always fluid. They're not static. So this is going to hurt probably first-time home buyers is what Mike laid out. He said that interest rates going up will lower the affordability for most people. And who does that affect most? People trying to, get their foot in the door. So unfortunately, higher interest rates are going to make it so some people can't afford the monthly payment that
Correct.
they could have when interest rates were 1.5 lower.
Correct. So as a seller, think about this. If you're selling a home, it will cost, if you sold that home right now for the same price as you did 4 months ago, with a 3% interest rate and a 5.5% interest rate, their monthly payments $800 to $1,000 more per month.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that's going to affect the prices buyers are willing to pay for homes? The answer is yes. So they're going to maintain fluidity. They're going to be going up and down. It's going to be interesting to see. If they get very high, like 7, 8, 9%, I think we're in for a very weird and tough period.
It's going to get weird quick.
Yeah. So, but Fed just did a 75 basis point hike, and we didn't see mortgage rates go up. Mortgage rates actually went down, which they're separate. So anyway, we're going to see them continuing to fluctuate.
Yeah, they're going to go both directions, which is can be intimidating, but ultimately, if they do drop, you can always refinance. So don't panic too much. Point number 6 is buyers have more choices, which makes the home buying process more enjoyable. Which,
so damn true, man.
I mean, we've touched on this a couple times already in this segment. Having choices is a good thing as a home buyer. You shouldn't have to rush through a house, and then you shouldn't be asking yourself, how much over asking do I have to do to get in this home that I don't really even like that much, but there's not any other option.
Yeah. Dude,
that's a sad
the
situation.
last 2 years have honestly not been fun helping buyers because of the stress and the quick time decisions and all these things for buyers. It was not that enjoyable because for them.
Exactly.
It was now buyers can look at homes, look for the one that they want. They're getting closer to the point. Are there still some markets, some locations, some price points where it's very hot? Yes. It is still, keep in mind, like we talked about before, it's still a seller's market.
Mm-hmm.
So homes are still selling quickly, but all of these things are starting to happen. There's more options for buyers now, which is a lot more enjoyable. So,
yeah. Yep. When there's one townhouse for sale in the given area, everyone's looking at the same thing. It's really simple. Having 3 for sale gives the buyers a little bit of leverage, you know. So that was point 6. Point 7 is there are fewer showings and offers on each listing.
Yes.
Fewer buyers in the market, really. I mean, it's back to the affordability problem.
Higher cap, higher. I mean, you're talking higher salaries, higher interest rates.
That's right.
Higher interest rates, less buyer demand, less showings, and we're seeing that. I've got some beautiful properties listed right now that 6 months ago would have had multiple offers already, but they're on the high side of price, like we talked about. So now they're only getting a showing here and a showing there, which, by the way, that is fairly normal in a normal market. In a house that's priced well, you're still going to get a good amount of showings and still sell quickly.
That's right.
Number 8.
Number 8 would be projections for quarter 3 and quarter 4 are declining. As interest rates go up, makes sense that projections of numbers of sales nationally is going down. They're still projecting that we're going to close 5.3 million sales, which is incredible.
Yep.
Just when you compare that to the short term last couple of years, I mean, it looks like, significant decline. But look over a long enough timeline, and that is a solid year. 100%. You got anything on it?
Yeah, I mean, I think everything that you said there is perfect. Like, I mentioned it before. We're still going to hit numbers that are some of the best real estate years ever. Mm-hmm. Just pandemic 20 and 21 they were anomalies. They're not going to continue to happen. So we're going to more normal.
That's right. Prices are flattening out is point number 9. Again, this does not mean that there's going to be a huge price crash, but prices are flattening out, meaning that prices are going to continue to appreciate, but not on a 18-20% basis every year. That's just not
sustainable.
Correct.
And so before 2020 and 2021, the average home appreciated 3.6% on an annual basis. So if you had a $100,000 house, the next year was worth $103,600, right? And so on, 3.6%. Last 2 years, we saw 15+%.
Yeah.
Completely unsustainable. So
totally.
Prices flattening, by the way, is a good thing. Now, prices decreasing, I think, really does depend on what happens with interest rates.
Yep.
And overall, anything crazy in terms of a crazy recession, any crazy world wars, those things can affect
consumer sentiment.
Correct. Big time. But overall, I think that what we're going to see, flattening prices, think about it this way. What was the value of your home 2 years ago? And think about what's the value of your home now. So even if the prices flatten, which we need, which they're projected to still appreciate.
Yeah.
Because we still don't have enough
Homes for sale.
Homes for sale, and it's still a seller's market. So but after this year, it's supposed to go to a more normal 3%, 4% rate. That's what the projections are. This is good. This is good stuff. We were in unsustainable territory. We're now going into more sustainable territory. So these are good things. But I do think whether or not prices depreciate versus can slowly appreciate it is depending on what interest rates do and overall national and world economic situations, right? Russia, Ukraine stuff, China, all that stuff that's over with different countries, with China, the U.S. markets, all that stuff plays a factor in that. But in terms of housing, what we're seeing, it wouldn't be because of housing, right?
No.
So
Yeah.
anyway, I think this is a good thing. Prices leveling off is good, but just remember, if you didn't buy or sell in the last 2 years, your value of your home is significantly higher.
Yeah.
Even the price is flat. So
on
it's
the
good.
flip side of that, if you were a buyer and you decided to hold off the last 2 years because you thought that there was going to be a crash or for whatever reason, you're going to just wait it out. Now homes are significantly more expensive than they were 2 years ago. So
exactly.
Can skin that kid either way. But the point number 10 is expireds, withdrawals, and canceled listings are coming faster than ever. And to basically just kind of explain what that is it's a home that went on the market for sale, and an expired would be that the listing contract expired and that home's no longer for sale, taken off the market, the home didn't sell. Canceled would be that they canceled the listing contract, and then withdrawn was the contract's still in place, but it's no longer actively for sale.
And that's the only reason that's happening is because people are overpricing their houses for the market we were just in.
Correct.
Not pricing based off of comps. So
Yeah,
that's
very simple solution to that. Price your home based off of data. Offers under list price are increasing. I'm personally buying a house underneath list price right now. I know that you just had a story about.
Just had a buyer get under contract in Crown Point for $45,000 under the asking price.
Yeah.
It's happening all the time. The time now. So we're going, again, a more normal real estate market.
That's right.
And the reason that happened, that person overpriced their house.
Yeah.
So they overpriced it, so we got it for a more normal price. Actually, probably less than what they could have if they would have priced it properly, which is a different conversation.
Yeah, totally different, but quality conversation. Contingencies, appraisals, and inspections are back in play. I think in our market, for the most part, people were, they were having appraisals done and having inspections done.
Yeah.
I mean, of course, on some of the most desired homes, those were waived, but contingencies were definitely a tough battle. Really impossible the last couple of years.
Yeah.
So that is so encouraging, especially if you're, somebody that needs to move up and can't afford to move into a bigger home without selling your, quote unquote starter home. Like that's a sad story for, to me. I think that really sucks when a client calls me and they're in that situation. Now it's encouraging to say, hey, it's possible. You're going to be able to list your home for sale and then buy a new home contingent on the closing of your home or the sale of your home.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, I think this is great. It's great to now agents are going to have to learn how to navigate that, because that's that's tough to deal with when you have a house that you need to sell in order to buy the next one. There's a lot more that goes into with the contingency process. So now you have to make sure you have an agent who understands that process and knows how to guide you through that process. There's so many things that go into that when a contingency is involved. So anyway, I think it's a good thing because now it takes people out of some of the pressure situations that they were in.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Then the last point here is seller concessions are back in play. So basically what that means is maybe you, as a seller, have to give some closing costs to the buyer for any reason, maybe an inspection problem or something. That's good that those are back in play because, again, it just leads to a more normal market.
Totally. And a lot of times these concessions, I had 2 offers this week where both times the concessions were being used not towards necessarily their closing costs. But remember, what's causing things to slow down to a more normal market? Interest rates. Exactly. So what were they doing with the concessions? They were buying down points. They were buying down their interest rate.
That's right.
So those seller concessions are being used towards that. So a good negotiating point when you're a buyer's agent now.
Absolutely.
So all in all this here, right, there's a lot of things going on here. The answer to this is now you need to make sure that you are working, if you're someone in the market or know someone, you need to make sure they're working with an agent who knows what they're doing, who knows this process, who knows how to navigate what's happening here. Because it is now going into a market where where a professional is very necessary, right? Whether you're selling, it's not just throw a sign in the front yard and let it go. It's not going to go like that anymore these days. You have
Can't take cell phone pictures.
You have to have a professional marketing plan.
That's
a
right.
Process. What does that process look like? You have to have an effective and proper pricing strategy. You now need somebody who can navigate all of that process for listing and getting you the most money. I had someone call me the other day. Hey, I'm listed with a friend. It's a colleague of mine. He's part-time. But I just feel like I need someone who's doing this full time, who knows how to properly market. We've been following your stuff forever. They're on the market for 30 days. Within 4 days, we had an accepted offer. By the way, we needed 30 days to close their house, or they were going to have to pay a fee per day on the new construction build that they were buying. We had 30 days. We got that offer accepted, and the closing date is 1 day after the date that they're buying their new home. So they're only going to have to pay 1 day of late fees if everything goes as planned. 4 days on the market versus 30. What's the difference? The difference is a proven effective plan, right? From the buying side, right? You just heard multiple situations where we got buyers' offers under contract and underneath the asking price. How are we doing that? That's all of this stuff is important as to how we're navigating getting buyers the best experience, the best deals, best situation possible, and same thing with sellers. You need to find an agent that can help you navigate all of this that's happening here. So any questions on that? Throw your comments into the video. Do you have anything else you want to add to this?
No, I was just going to say that these are not static. These 14 points, there's going to be more things that come up. And not only is it important to have a professional that understands these points, but somebody that's staying up to date on the market and is able to keep you informed as new changing factors enter the market. So, yeah, I mean, like you said, if you have any comments or questions or anything, I'd love to interact with people.
100%. I want to talk about this stuff.
Shoot us a comment, DM.
We nerd out about this stuff. We study numbers, facts, figures all day long. This is our business. We love doing it. So if any of you guys have any comments, if you want to share your projections, if you think we're doom and gloom, I'd love to talk about that. Let's do it. Let's talk about it. Some of my biggest mentors think we're going into a massive real estate recession or a massive real estate decline. And and it's not just because it's our business. There's a lot of data points and things that show that we're not necessarily going that route. So I'd love to have those conversations and honest debates. So anyone wants to talk about it, let's do it. As far as how we're handling it, feel free to ask us questions. We train on this every single week, multiple times a week. This is what we do. So thank you guys so much for hopping on the show. I hope you enjoyed the real estate related segment today, and appreciate you guys watching. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.